Cheating Story exposed the channel dedicated to intense stories of betrayal, justice, and the moment everything you believed shatters. I still remember the weight of my phone in my hand when Laura from accounting called. It was a Tuesday, October 15th, around 3 in the afternoon. I was reviewing blueprints for the Henderson Project A luxury condo development that would be our biggest contract yet. The kind of deal that takes a company from successful to industry-leading. "We need to talk," Laura said. Her voice had this strange quality to it, tight and careful. "Can you come to the office now?" Worked with Laura for 6 years. She didn't panic. She didn't exaggerate. So when she used that tone, I knew something was seriously wrong. 20 minutes later, I was sitting in our main conference room. Laura had spread out what looked like 6 months of financial statements across the table. My business partner, Trevor, wasn't there yet. I'd called him right after Laura told him it was urgent. "Before Trevor gets here," Laura said, sliding a highlighted document toward me, "I need you to see this." It was a transfer record, $50,000, moving from our primary operating account to an LLC I'd never heard of, Henderson Solutions Group. "What is this?" I asked. "That's just one," Laura said quietly. "There are 11 more, all to different shell companies. All authorized with digital signatures that match Trevor's access codes." The room felt like it was tilting. "How much total?" $302,000. I sat there, just processing. Trevor and I had started this construction company 8 years ago. We'd been roommates in college, both studying civil engineering. He was the closest thing to a brother I'd ever had outside my actual family. We'd survived the recession, underbid nightmare clients, pulled all-nighters to meet impossible deadlines. We'd built something real together. There has to be an explanation, I said, but even as the words came out, I knew how naive they sounded. Laura pulled out another stack of papers. "I found the first irregularity 3 weeks ago. I've been tracing everything since then. The shell companies are all registered to different addresses, but they route back to the same 3 bank accounts. I have the routing numbers here." Before I could respond, the conference room door opened. Trevor walked in. And the moment he saw Laura's face, then mine, then the papers spread across the table, I watched something change in his expression. It was like watching a mask slip. "What's going on?" he asked, but his voice was wrong, too controlled. "Sit down," I said. He did, slowly. His eyes never left the documents. I slid the first transfer record across to him. "Want to explain this?" Trevor picked up the paper. His hand was shaking slightly. For maybe 30 seconds, he just stared at it. Then he set it down very carefully. "I can explain," he said. "I'm listening. I needed the money. I was going to pay it back. I just needed time to $300,000. I cut him off. 11 different shell companies, 6 months of systematic theft. That's not borrowing, Trevor. That's embezzlement." His face had gone pale. "I was in trouble, real trouble. I made some bad investments and stop." I felt something cold settling in my chest. "Just stop lying. I want the truth, all of it, right now." Trevor looked at Laura, then back at me. "Can we talk alone?" "No," I said. "Laura's already seen everything. Whatever you're about to say, you can say it in front of her." He closed his eyes, took a long, shaky breath. When he opened them again, there was something broken in his expression, something that looked almost like relief. "It wasn't my idea," he said quietly. "What wasn't your idea?" "Any of it. The shell companies, the transfers, the timing." "I set it up, yeah, but I wasn't the one who planned it." I felt my pulse starting to pound in my temples. "Then who did?" Trevor looked straight at me. "Your father." The words didn't make sense at first. They just hung there in the air between us like something I'd misheard. "What did you just say?" "Your father approached me 14 months ago," Trevor said. His words were coming faster now, like a dam breaking. "He told me the company was worth more than you realized, that you were too conservative, passing on opportunities. He said if I helped him restructure things, we'd all come out ahead." I couldn't breathe properly. "You're lying." "I'm not. I swear I'm not. He had a whole plan worked out. The shell companies would hold the money temporarily, then we'd invest it in a development deal he had lined up, something in Florida, high-yield returns. He said you'd never even notice the money was gone because we'd put it back with a profit before the next quarter." Laura was staring at Trevor like he'd grown a second head. I probably looked the same. "My father," I said slowly, "has nothing to do with this company. He retired from his own construction business 5 years ago." "He wanted back in," Trevor said. "He told me he made a mistake retiring, that watching you run this company was driving him crazy because you weren't aggressive enough, he said. He said you were too much like your mother, too cautious." That detail, that specific, horrible detail, made it real. My father had always resented my mother's careful approach to business. He'd built his company on high-risk, high-reward deals. Some paid off spectacularly. Others nearly bankrupted him. My mother had been the one to convince him to retire before one of his gambles destroyed everything. "When?" I asked. My voice sounded strange to my own ears. "When did he first contact you?" "April of last year. He took me to lunch, said he wanted to talk about the business." At first, I thought he was just being supportive, interested in how things were going. But then he started asking very specific questions about our account structure, our signature authorization protocols, who had access to what. And you didn't think that was strange? I thought he was just being a concerned father, making sure his son's business was set up correctly. Trevor's hands were shaking now. By the third lunch meeting, he laid out the plan. He said he had investors ready to go on the Florida deal, said it was time-sensitive, that we'd triple the investment in 6 months. Why would you agree to this? I asked. Why would you risk everything we built? Trevor's face crumpled. Because I was desperate. I told you I made bad investments. That was true. I'd gotten involved in some crypto trades that went sideways. I was $200,000 in debt to people who don't exactly send polite reminder letters. Your father knew about it. How? I don't know, but he knew. He brought it up at that third lunch. Said he could help me with that problem too. That the Florida deal would generate enough profit to cover my debts and the company money, with plenty left over for all of us. I turned to Laura. Did you know about Trevor's financial problems? She shook her head. Nothing showed up in company accounts. This was personal. The Florida deal, I said to Trevor. Did it exist? His silence was answer enough. How much did he actually take? I asked. I don't know. I swear I don't know. I set up the transfers like he told me, but I never saw where the money went after that. He had his own banking contacts, his own plans for moving it. I just did what he said. I stood up, started pacing. My father, the man who taught me how to read blueprints when I was 8 years old, who took me to construction sites every weekend, explaining load-bearing walls and foundation pours, who handed me the keys to his old truck when I started this company and said he was proud of me. I need to call him, I said. Wait, Trevor stood too. There's more. More? How could there possibly be more? The Henderson project, the reason we got that bid, your father arranged it. The condo development, our biggest contract, the one I'd been reviewing blueprints for when Laura called. What are you talking about? He knows someone on the Henderson selection committee. That's why our bid came in so much lower than the competition. He had inside information on what everyone else was quoting. He gave me the numbers. I adjusted our bid accordingly. That's why we won. I felt sick. So even our legitimate success was built on fraud. I'm sorry, Trevor said. I'm so sorry. It got out of control so fast. I wanted to tell you 100 times, but I was in too deep. And your father kept saying everything would work out, that you'd thank us eventually when you saw the results. Laura had been quiet this whole time, just taking notes. Now she looked up. You need to involve the police. And a lawyer. This is criminal conspiracy, wire fraud, embezzlement. The list is extensive. I know, I said, but I couldn't move, couldn't think properly. My phone buzzed. A text from my father. Dinner tomorrow night. Your mother wants to see you. I stared at that message. The casual normality of it, like he hadn't just orchestrated the systematic theft of $300,000 from my company, like he hadn't manipulated my best friend into committing crimes. Like tomorrow night would be just another family dinner where we'd talk about sports and Mom's garden and whether I was ever going to settle down and give them grandchildren. I'm going to see him, I said. Tonight. That's not a good idea, Laura said. You should talk to a lawyer first. I'm not going to confront him. I'm just going to. I need to see his face. I need to know if this is real. Trevor was crying now, actually crying. I never meant for this to happen. You have to believe me. I looked at him, this person I'd trusted with everything. I don't know what I believe anymore. I didn't go straight to my parents' house. Instead, I drove to my apartment, sat in my car in the parking garage, and made phone calls first to our company attorney, Bradley, told him everything. He was silent for a long time after I finished. This is bad, he finally said. This is really, really bad. If what Trevor's saying is true, your father could face serious federal charges. Wire fraud, conspiracy, potentially RICO violations if he's done this before, and the Henderson contract. If that was obtained through fraudulent means, you could lose it, might even face penalties. What do I do? Document everything. Don't delete any communications. Don't confront your father without recording the conversation. Actually, don't confront him at all until we have a strategy. And for God's sake, don't sign anything or make any statements without me present. Second call to my mother, told her I was coming over, that I needed to talk to Dad about something important. Is everything okay? She asked. She had that worried mother tone. I don't know yet, I said honestly. Is Dad home? He's in his workshop. You know how he is in the evenings. Come by any time, honey. I'll make coffee. Third call to my ex-girlfriend, Nina. We'd broken up 6 months ago, but we'd stayed friends. She was a forensic accountant. If anyone could help me untangle this mess, it was her. I need a favor, I said when she answered. A big one. What's wrong? You sound terrible. I gave her the abbreviated version. Can you look at some financial records? Tell me what you see? Send them over. I'll start tonight. My parents lived in the same house they'd bought 30 years ago. Small ranch style in a quiet neighborhood, paid off decades ago. My father's workshop was a converted garage where he still kept all his old construction equipment and tools. He spent hours out there most evenings, tinkering with projects he'd never finish. When I pulled into the driveway, I saw the workshop light on. Through the window, I could see his silhouette moving around, doing something with a table saw. Mom met me at the front door. Gave me a hug, commented that I looked thin, asked if I was eating enough. Normal mom stuff. It felt surreal given what I now knew, or thought I knew. Dad's in the workshop, she said. Want me to get him? No, I'll go out there. The workshop smelled like sawdust and motor oil. Dad was working on what looked like a bookshelf, measuring and marking cuts. He looked up when I came in, face breaking into a smile. Hey, kiddo, wasn't expecting you tonight. Everything okay? I closed the workshop door behind me. I need to ask you something. Something in my voice made him set down his measuring tape. What's wrong? Trevor, my business partner, you know him pretty well, right? Sure, good kid. You two make a great team. When's the last time you talked to him? My father's expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes, just for a second. I don't know, few months ago maybe. Why? He says you've been meeting with him regularly for over a year, says you pitched him an investment opportunity in Florida. Now the expression changed, careful neutrality sliding over his features. I think Trevor might be confused about something. $300,000 is missing from my company accounts, I said quietly. Trevor confessed to embezzling it, but he says you planned the whole thing. My father stared at me. The silence stretched out for what felt like hours. That's a serious accusation, he finally said. Is it true? You're really going to take his word over mine? Some punk who just admitted to stealing from you. I'm asking you directly, Dad. Did you plan this? He turned back to his bookshelf, picked up the measuring tape again. You should leave now. Answer the question. There. Nothing to answer. Trevor's lying to save himself. He got caught, now he's trying to spread the blame around. Classic criminal behavior. He knew things, I said. Specific things about you, about Mom, about conversations only you two could have had. My father's jaw tightened. Get out of my workshop. Why would you do this if it's true? Why? He spun around. Because you're wasting it. Everything I taught you, every opportunity I created for you, you're too scared to actually use it. You play it safe, make your little modest profits, pat yourself on back. You could be running an empire, but instead you're running a lemonade stand. There it was, the truth underneath the denial, the admission wrapped in anger. So you decided to steal from me, I said. Your own son. I decided to invest your capital properly. That money was just sitting there doing nothing. I had connections, opportunities you don't even know about. I could have tripled it in a year. Where's the money now? He didn't answer. Dad, where is it? Tied up. It's tied up in some. The deal didn't go exactly as planned, but it's going to pay off. Just needs more time. You lost it. I didn't lose it. It's invested. There's a difference. I felt something breaking inside me. You destroyed my friendship with Trevor. You committed federal crimes. You risked my entire company. And you lost the money? I'm fixing it, he said. I've got another opportunity lined up. Bigger, better. I just need a few more months and stop. I held up my hand. Just stop talking. You don't understand the business world, he said. Not really. You're too much like your mother, always worried about safety and security. Sometimes you have to take real risks to see real rewards. Mom doesn't know, does she? His silence confirmed it. I'm going to the police, I said. Tomorrow morning. Bradley's already preparing the documentation. My father's face went pale. You'd do that to your own father? You did this to your own son. I was trying to help you. By stealing from me, by manipulating my best friend, by putting my entire business at risk. My voice was rising now. What part of that was helping? You'll thank me when you pay it back, you just admitted you lost it. When the Florida deal pays off, there is no Florida deal, is there? There never was. He looked away. Tell me the truth, I said. All of it right now. Only chance you have to make this even slightly better. My father slumped into his work chair. Suddenly he looked old, tired. I've been investing your company money for 11 months, he said quietly. Started small, 10,000 here, 15 there, cryptocurrency mostly, some commodities trading. I have a broker I trust, or thought I trusted. He said he could generate 30% returns. How much is actually left? Maybe 40,000, $260,000. Gone, the Florida deal was real, he continued. At first, but by the time we had enough capital to invest, the opportunity had closed. My broker said he had better options, short-term plays that would recover everything and more. I believed him. Does Trevor know this? No, I told him everything was going according to plan. I figured I could fix it before anyone noticed. And the Henderson project. That part was true. I do know someone on the selection committee. I told him you were the best contractor in the state, that you'd do excellent work. He agreed to look at your bid favorably, but you still earned that contract. Your bid was solid, your reputation is solid. I just greased the wheels a little. That's bribery, Dad. That's fraud. That's business, he snapped. Everyone does it. You're just naive enough to think otherwise. I stared at him, this man who'd been my hero growing up, the person I'd modeled my entire career after. I didn't recognize him anymore. I'm leaving. Now, I said, tomorrow I'm going to the police. I'm going to tell them everything. Bradley will handle the legal side, but I wanted you to hear it from me first. You need to get your own lawyer, a criminal defense attorney. You're really going to do this, he said. It wasn't a question. Yes, I'll lose everything. Your mother will lose everything. The house, the retirement savings, all of it will go to legal fees and restitution. You should have thought about that before you committed federal crimes. I'm your father, and I'm the son you stole from, I said. Apparently that didn't mean much to you. I walked out of the workshop. Mom was in the kitchen pouring coffee she'd promised. She took one look at my face and set down the pot. What happened? Asked Dad, I said. He'll explain everything. Honey, what's wrong? I kissed her forehead. I love you, Mom. I'm sorry for what's about to happen. Then I left. Got in my car, drove away from that house, from that life, from the person I used to be when I still trusted the people closest to me. The next 6 months were brutal. I went to the police the following morning with Bradley. They took my statement, launched an investigation. Within 2 weeks, they'd arrested both Trevor and my father. The charges were extensive. Wire fraud, conspiracy, embezzlement, money laundering. Trevor took a plea deal. 5 years in federal prison, restitution payments for the rest of his life. He cooperated fully with investigators, provided documentation of every meeting with my father, every transfer, every conversation. His testimony was the cornerstone of the prosecution's case. My father fought it. Hired an expensive defense team, insisted he'd done nothing wrong, that this was all a misunderstanding. But the evidence was overwhelming. Bank records, emails, text messages, Trevor's testimony, the forensic accounting Nina had done. In the end, he was convicted on 17 counts. The judge sentenced him to 12 years in federal prison. My mother divorced him while he was awaiting sentencing. Moved into a small apartment across town, got a job at a local bookstore. We have lunch every Sunday. She never asks me if I regret reporting him. She knows the answer. The Henderson contract was revoked pending investigation. When the details came out about how we'd won the bid, the company took a massive reputation hit. We lost 3 other major clients who didn't want to be associated with the scandal. I had to lay off 18 people. Good people who'd done nothing wrong but work for a company that had become toxic. Nina helped me restructure everything. New banking protocols, new oversight systems, complete financial transparency. We brought in an external auditor who reviews everything quarterly. I promoted Laura to CFO. She deserved it, and more importantly, I trusted her completely, slowly. Very slowly, we rebuilt, took on smaller projects, proved we could deliver quality work, let our actual results speak louder than the scandal. After 8 months, we landed a new major contract, then another. The company survived. I sold my father's house to help cover restitution payments. It wasn't nearly enough to cover what he'd stolen, but it was something. The bankruptcy proceedings are still ongoing. He'll spend the rest of his life in debt, even after he gets out of prison. I visited him once, 6 months after his sentencing. He'd been transferred to a federal facility in Pennsylvania. The visiting room was exactly like you see in movies. Plastic tables, vending machines, guards watching everyone. He looked smaller somehow. Older, prison jumpsuit instead of his usual flannel shirts and work boots. I didn't think you'd come, he said when he sat down across from me. Neither did I. How's the company? Surviving, no thanks to you. He flinched. I deserve that. You deserve a lot worse than that. We sat in silence for a while. Around us, other inmates talked with their families. Low conversations, crying children, tense negotiations about money and lawyers and appeals. I'm sorry, my father finally said. I know that doesn't mean much, but I was wrong about everything. I convinced myself I was helping you, but really, I was trying to prove something to myself, that I still had it, that I could still make the big plays, pull off the impossible deals. I got addicted to the risk, to the feeling of being in the game again. You gambled with my life, I said. My business, my relationships, my reputation, you didn't even ask. I know. Trevor's in prison because of you. 18 people lost their jobs because of you. Mom lost her home, her marriage, her retirement security because of you. I know. His voice broke. I know all of it. I think about it every day, every single day. Good, I said. You should. Do you think you'll ever forgive me? I looked at him, really looked at him. This person who used to be my hero, my mentor, my dad. I don't know, I said honestly. Right now I can barely stand to be in the same room with you. Maybe that'll change eventually, maybe it won't, but either way. You're not the person I thought you were. That person doesn't exist. So even if I forgive you someday, I'll never trust you again, and I'll never forget what you did. He nodded slowly. That's fair. Is it? Because it doesn't feel fair. Nothing about this feels fair. For what it's worth, he said, I'm proud of how you handled this. You did the right thing even though it was hard, even though it cost you everything. That takes real strength, more than I ever had. Don't do that, I said. Don't try to take credit for the person I am. You taught me construction, you taught me business, but who I am right now, the choices I'm making, that's in spite of you, not because of you. I stood up. The guard looked over, checking if we were done. I should go, I said. Will you come back? My father asked. Eventually. I don't know, maybe we'll see. I walked out of that visiting room, out of that facility, back to my car in the parking lot. I sat there for a long time just breathing, processing, trying to figure out how I felt. The truth was I didn't feel much of anything. Not anger anymore, not sadness, just emptiness. Like the place where my father used to exist in my life had become a void I didn't know how to fill. It's been 3 years now. The company is stable again, profitable. We just landed another major contract, this one legitimately through a completely transparent bidding process. I've hired back some of the people we had to lay off. Built a new team, created something sustainable. Trevor got out on parole last month. He called me once, said he was sorry, asked if we could talk. I told him no, maybe someday, but not yet. The wounds are still too fresh. My father has 8 years left on his sentence. He writes me letters sometimes. I read them, but I don't respond. I don't know if I ever will. Mom thinks I should. She says forgiveness is important, that holding on to anger only hurts me. Maybe she's right, but I'm not there yet. What I learned from all this: trust isn't something you give away freely. It's something you build slowly, carefully, with people who prove repeatedly, consistently that they deserve it. I learned that family doesn't automatically mean loyalty. That the people closest to you can hurt you the worst. That sometimes doing the right thing means destroying everything you thought you knew about your life. I also learned that I'm stronger than I thought I was. That I can survive betrayal from the people who were supposed to protect me. That I can rebuild from nothing again and again, no matter how many times it gets torn down. The conference room where Laura first showed me those transfer records is still there. Same table, same chairs. Sometimes I sit in there alone. After everyone goes home, just remembering that day. The moment everything changed. The last day I trusted easily. The first day I became the person I am now. I don't regret turning them in, either of them. I'd do it again no matter the cost. Because some things are more important than family, than friendship, than protecting the people you love. Integrity matters. Truth matters. Justice matters, even when it destroys you to pursue it. I'm still rebuilding. Probably will be for the rest of my life. But I'm rebuilding honestly, transparently, with people who have earned their place in my company and in my life. That's worth something. Maybe it's worth everything. My father wanted to teach me about taking big risks in business. He succeeded, just not the way he planned. The biggest risk I ever took was turning in my own father for federal crimes. The biggest bet I ever made was on my own integrity, even when it cost me everything I'd built. Turns out, that's one bet that actually paid off. That's my story. $300,000, 2 betrayals, and the hardest decision I've ever had to make. If this resonated with you, if you faced your own impossible choices and painful betrayals, let me know in the comments. And subscribe for more real stories of betrayal, justice, and the long road to rebuilding trust. Thanks for listening.